The cause, a dangerous discovery, a drum filled with a toxic chemical washing ashore on the Intercoastal.
Legends Mike Mars live for us in Hollywood to bring us this story. Mike?
Guys, what a headache, but the good news here is that it is finally over. A1A back open. That barrel, that drum of chemicals, it's out of here. The bad stuff gone. Blame this 55-gallon drum that washed up on Hollywood Beach. Inside, some unknown chemical. The immediate area evacuated. Traffic shut down. The solution began to bubble, nearly boiling into a fire. So hazmat officials neutralized the chemical in a solution. That means they made it safe to move. Hazmat units escorted it to a waste management facility in Davie late Monday. Guys in protective suits came back out to the scene to clean up the mess. The road is back open.
Developing right now, MacArthur High School in Hollywood is on lockdown after more than a dozen students and a teacher are infected with some sort of rash.
Any minute they're going to be transporting some kids to the hospital. Now what we understand is this all happened just a couple of hours ago at the school. Kids began itching, they had redness on their skin, and that's when they called 911. So at this point, the rest of the students, we understand, many of the students have been taken into the gym in school. They're not allowing any other student to leave the school right now, not allowing any parents in. A number of parents are showing up because they got concerned when they saw the fire trucks and the police activity. Not much information is coming out of the school. Some parents are frustrated. We just talked to one parent. This is an unconfirmed report that perhaps it was some type of bug or mud.
Day at the beach when one of the children picked up some rocks. The mother put them in her pocket, and several hours later, they caught fire. The story you'll see only on Eyewitness News. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Fair is live outside of Santa Ana Hospital, but a woman is recovering from some serious burns. Eileen?
And Ellen, authorities say that the woman suffered second and third degree burns to her right leg. She also burned her hand as she was trying to get the rocks out of her pocket. Her husband also suffered first and second degree burns to his hand as he was trying to help his wife.
Right now, new at 11 for you, new information on that horrific attack by the MacArthur Causeway. Police were forced to open fire on a naked man who refused to stop chewing the face off of another man. We look into what could have caused this attack, and we have new details on just how much of the victim's face was literally bitten off. CBS 4's Tiffany Hellberg spoke to a police officer who was at the crime scene. She joins us live from Miami. And Tiffany, the officer believes the man clearly was on some very, very powerful drugs.
That's right, Cynthia. The Fraternal Order of Police president tells me this crop of LSD is a major threat to police officers as well as the rest of us. He says it turns normal people into monsters that possess this superhuman strength and no ability to feel pain. He believes that's what was behind the incident that unfolded here Saturday in broad daylight just off the MacArthur Causeway exit right next to the Miami Herald, and it was the Herald's surveillance video that caught much of it on tape. Now we want to warn you, much of the details you're about to hear are disturbing and gruesome.
It totally horrified me. This was probably my 30 years as a police officer. The nastiest, most horrific incident I've ever seen.
An incident partially caught on camera by Miami Herald surveillance. Fraternal Order of Police President Armando Aguilar says that cop had no choice but to shoot when he found a naked man chewing away at another man's face.
Had his face completely eaten from the top of his forehead to almost his jaw. It wasn't just that he was being bit, it's that the person was actually swallowing pieces of his face.
His cannibalistic attacker unfazed by the officer's commands to stop.
When the police approached him, he turned around and growled and kept attacking the victim on the floor.
That's when he says the officer shot him.
The initial shots had no effect. He had to repeatedly shoot him about 4 times until the man collapsed.
The naked attacker now dead on the sidewalk. There he is on the left. His now faceless victim lay on the ground next to him, likely writhing in pain as sources say he no longer had eyes or a nose.
I can only imagine, and by talking to the officer, I see that he's totally traumatized. It was like something out of a horror movie.
Aguilar says this is the worst out of about 4 similar cases in Dade County to happen recently. In other other incidents, the people have admitted to taking a new strain of what they're calling bad LSD.
Their body temperature reaches such a high degree that they have to take all their clothes off because they're basically melting from the inside.
He says that was the case just blocks away on Bayshore Drive. That was in March when a bloody naked man who had been hit by a cab growled at police and showed superhuman strength when they tried to help him.
There was more than 10 or 15 officers on the scene, and even after they tasered the man 2 or 3 times, he was still able to take a baton away from one of our officers and severely damage her arm.
Scary stuff. Now, I'm told that man from the March incident did survive. As for the man related to this incident off the MacArthur Causeway who was attacked in the face, we know he is currently hospitalized in critical condition. Live in downtown Miami, Tiffany Helberg, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Unbelievable to hear it all. Thanks for that, Tiffany.
Oh, shit. This is the Weird Shit Podcast.
Is that a joint, man?
And I wouldn't flaunt your ignorance.
Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
So today they showed the new Solo trailer. Yes, they showed the new penis.
Nice. Was it good?
It's penis too.
It's made of like pure chocolate, so that it's irresistible to all people, and it'll be better than the old penis. Except it keeps melting, so
it's full of white chocolate.
I think they have to keep working on it. But they showed the new Solo trailer. Did you see that yet, Palmer?
What's Solo?
It's the Han Solo movie.
Oh, okay. I was like, Solo what?
Is that
like,
Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek.
Is that
Captain Spock movie?
No, I think... pretty sure it's Babylon 5000.
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica.
Galactica?
Is that the Firefly movie?
Oh, you mean fucking Outlaw Star?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
When Hagrid tells Spock, use the Force. You know, that movie.
I remember that. That's a dope movie. It actually doesn't look that bad, though. Like I was really worried, but I think Ron Howard might actually make it decent.
No.
Is he playing Solo?
That would be awesome. But no.
Some fucking orange-haired dude just like, hey,
I'm Han Solo.
I'm Han Solo.
It's just him somehow from like when he was a kid playing Han Solo. Like, holy shit. Like fucking Andy Griffith is just mad, just hitting him all the time.
So, at what point in the movie do you think that Daenerys is going to die?
I think it'll be after the Wicked Witch shows up, but before the Terminators finish taking over.
Okay, cool.
So
her hand's gonna get cut off by her father.
You are the chosen one.
But instead of the hand falling down the endless pit, she falls down and the hand stands still.
She drops her weed.
Mm-hmm.
the hand.
She just dives after it. No.
Her hand becomes Thing from the Addams Family and keeps lightsaber fighting, even though she's like gone.
And just gets pissed and walks off. I said good day.
Good day, sir. This is the like singing frog thing from Looney Tunes. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
That hand is
hello, my
wacky.
ragtime girl. So this one we've actually got a whole bunch of requests for at different points in time. People will be like, why haven't you done this yet? It's so big right now, and the new season of Walking Dead is coming out, and blah blah blah. But we're doing zombies, son. So, what do you know about zombies, Palmer?
They're dead.
Okay.
You got red on you.
Oh shit! Oh wait, no, I don't. You made me look.
It's Electro.
I'm just gonna go to Winchester, have a punch, and wait for this episode to be over.
That's all of the knowledge about zombies I think you need right there.
That's true. It's the best you could possibly have. So, what do you know about zombies, Ryan?
I know people always talk about Walking Dead all the time, but I'm more into the Shambling Lives.
Yeah. Shambling Lives are pretty dope.
Yeah. I feel like life is better in general when you shamble.
That's true. So, zombies come from the Haitian French zombie, or the Haitian Creole zombie.
Is that like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah, actually, in Weekend at Bernie's too, he would have been a Haitian zombie with like the voodoo, and he's like dancing and shit. It's so amazing.
He was like ripping people's throats out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pretty sure the best zombie movie is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's vampires.
What?
We did them already.
No.
I thought Braveheart was a pretty good zombie movie.
I think the best zombie movie is anything with Helena Bonham Carter in it, because
was E.T. a zombie?
Yeah, it was actually. He was a space zombie.
Yeah.
Brains.
Yeah, you just didn't realize it, but when he said home, it was just alien for brain. E.T. phone home.
So, zombies are undead beings created through the reanimation of a human corpse.
Does it have to be human?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. That's the rules. I mean, I guess it would be like a zombie horse if it was like an undead horse, but I don't know if that would count specifically as a zombie. It's like the rectangle and square thing.
Wait.
You know what I mean? Where
centaur. If it gets bitten by a zombie.
Would that be a zombie centaur?
What if like the horse rejects the zombie? Like
the horse part is dead.
The horse part's fine. The upper body gets turned into a zombie because it is genetically inferior to the horse, and the horse is just like, oh fuck, now I'm half zombie. God damn it.
It's just like a zombie torso flopping around on like a perfectly fine horse body.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what it would be.
That sounds right.
It was a horse.
What happened to a mermaid? We're getting off topic. So usually zombies end up happening in fiction through either viruses, radiation, mental diseases, vectors, pathogens, scientific accidents, or magic. So, but there's also some like real life zombie shit where zombies originated in like Haiti with like voodoo and stuff like that, which we'll get to in a bit. But zombies,
they also originated in Florida with bath salts.
Florida Man is a zombie.
Florida Man is definitely a zombie. So they're actually one of like several different types of undead. Undead are pretty prevalent in like mythology and throughout like all kinds of different cultures have their own version of undead. Specifically, reanimated corpse undead is like a big one. Like, there's blood drinking undead, which are common all over the place, like vampires. There's people that, like ghosts and stuff, that's another type of undead. But these are, like, specifically the reanimated corpse undead are, like, always are like, hungry and, like, have something where they're, like, they hunger for people, which is kind of a weird thing that sticks around through like all the different cultures.
Could they purely be an allegory?
They could
for consumerism.
That's what your fucking film class teacher would tell you nowadays. But we weird shit. We get to the actual truth. One bowl at a time.
As I like to call it.
The trademark. Which is like the most important kind of truth. So
The wrong truth.
O-O-F.
Truth.
Truths. The reality of our truths.
This album is called "Get My DJ Out of Jail."
Support the troops.
Because my DJ is currently in jail. It's the reality of my troops. So,
we should start a
thing
for support the troops.
Support the troops. That's what we should call like any kind of fundraising drive we do in the future. It should be support the troops. So the first one I have here of the different types of undead are a Draugr.
Yeah. That's like the only thing you fight in Skyrim.
Yeah. I was about to ask, do you know what a Draugr is?
Them and bandits.
Yeah.
Is it like a mix between drugs and Frogger?
Yes. If you were on drugs and Frogger, you'd probably see a lot of these.
Probably in an old Nordic tomb.
Basically, Draugr are like they're like reanimated like Vikings, like Norse warriors who like
and they just start
come back
on
to
a guitar.
fucking murder you. That's like all they do.
They headbang, they shred on a guitar, and then they ask you a question.
Yeah, that's their like whole thing. Draugr die a second death when their bodies decay, are burned, or dismembered, or otherwise destroyed.
And you have to defeat them in a guitar duel for them to fall apart.
No, I'm fucked. I can't play the guitar.
But
play
like
air guitar.
But like
Sometimes
Draugr are pretty fucking Draugr are pretty fucking ridiculous. They got superhuman strength. They can increase their size at will.
I bet they ain't got shit on a fucking dwarf though.
I don't know.
Or a gnome.
Oh shit! Draugrs versus gnomes.
What about
that? Would be a lot of fun.
What about a gnome Draugr?
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
What if a zombie bites a gnome?
I actually found a picture of a zombie gnome, and it was horrifying. It was easily one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen.
Everybody who saw the zombie gnome say yeah, yeah.
So these Draugr they're super strong, and they can increase their size at will. So they can
yeah, but I can do that.
Become a fucking giant.
It just takes a really long time.
See, it's not that hard. So they're described as being a dead body that's swollen, blackened, and generally hideous to look at.
They swole. They swole.
They're Vikings, so they gotta be swole as fuck. Like, if Vikings are known for one thing, they're known for their swollenness.
You just got one thing to do when you spend 1,000 years in that tomb.
Pump iron.
Pump iron, that's right.
Like, some Draugr are immune to weapons. So, like...
That's kind of a broad, unfair advantage. Immune to weapons.
What if you know karate? Does that make your hands weapons in the case of this magic?
What if you're skilled at armed combat and you can use anything as a weapon?
What if you are a really good insult comic? You just can pick at their insecurities.
They're just like, brush their shoulders. They don't give a fuck.
Damn, he's immune to that shit.
Your mother was a whore. My mother died 10,000 years ago.
No, just hit him with like 30 or 40.
Make fun of the birds.
Yeah, I can take it. No.
I can take it.
Just rips on him for like an hour straight. The Draugur's just stone faced, and he's like, "No, you." And he's like, "No!"
Then they drag you into like wherever the hell Draugr come from. And Draugr are known for being relentless, so like they don't get tired, and if like a Draugr is after you, it'll follow you forever. So like until you kill it or it kills you.
So they're really good at stalking.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good at that.
Just gotta leave the tomb, then you're good. They can't zone out. I don't think. They might be able to. I'll have to double check.
I don't think so, unless there's a mod. Is there a mod that makes it so that it's seamless yet?
Get them on a boat, drive them to Iceland. Problem solved.
I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah.
They should have a seamless mod by now.
Yeah.
So, the next one I have listed here, the next type is ghouls. Basically, ghouls come from, like, Arabian mythology. And they're basically, these, undead creatures that, like, eat corpses and like hang out in graveyards. They also prey on young children. They drink blood and steal coins.
They play soccer too.
just like rip their skin off instead of their jersey.
Just like whipping their skin over their head, like, throw it in the crowd. Cool.
Yeah, that's a red card. You can't remove your skin.
You can't remove your skin and whip someone with it.
Oh, come on!
Come on! I'm so decayed, I can't help it. So, the next one I have here is the Jiangxi.
The what's it?
The
Jiangxi.
Junkie G.
Junkie G.
So, it's also known as the Chinese hopping vampire.
That doesn't actually sound that bad.
It's a type of reanimated corpse in Chinese legend and folklore.
Is it like half bunny?
Oh, sorry. It's read Gong Si in Cantonese.
Gong Si.
Kuang Thi in Vietnamese. And Gong Shi in Korean. Basically, these things are like a specific type of undead, which like hops instead of
All I'm
like.
saying is, I run into a Gong Shi
instead
on the
of
street.
walking.
Gong Shi's going down.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny you say that because I was looking at these. So like,
how high can they jump? Is it like a bunny hop, or is it like, oh shit, it just jumped on top of that 10-story building?
It's not really specified. It says that they move by jumping. So they could be fucking horrifying where it's like a xenomorph that leaps like 50 feet and like from rooftop to rooftop after you. Or it could be hilarious.
I'm thinking
where
hilarious.
it's just like bunny hopping everywhere.
I can only picture hilarious.
You're saying it hops from rooftop to rooftop after you. Does that mean you're able to jump from rooftop to rooftop? Because like I can't do that.
I can.
I ain't a zombie.
Been running from that Draugr so long, and you just jumping from rooftop, then you get this hopping vampire coming after you. This is bullshit.
You just throw a whole bunch of bunny ears at them and start laughing. Use them as Easter bunnies.
So there's a specific number of ways that someone can become a Jiangxi. One is through spirit possession of a dead body. Another is through the use of supernatural arts. So, like, if a necromancer is like, boom, you're Jiangxi, then that's what you are.
You gotta call doorknob.
You eat spoiled rabbit. That's another way, for sure.
You got a masticated weenus.
So,
you eat a zombie rabbit.
If a dead person is not buried after a funeral has been held, the corpse comes to life after it's struck by a bolt of lightning, or when a pregnant cat leaps across the coffin.
That's oddly specific.
That's pretty Stephen King.
That's pretty ridiculous.
What if you're
what if it's a pregnant gnat?
Yeah. What about a pregnant dog?
That doesn't count because it's not a cat.
No, if it's a pregnant gnat, it becomes something else.
And this is when you become a Xizhong.
It's when you become...
They're the farting vampire.
You turn into a movie. The Fly.
Farting vampire sounds harmless. They're not.
They're not. They're worse.
I mean...
So, you know how you were like, Jiangxi better not catch me in the street? Get this. I legitimately found a story of a woman being caught by a Jiangxi in the street in China.
She laid it out.
And it was in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
she slapped it so hard it fell out of the shoes.
They're in like traffic is what's literally going on. Like, she's in traffic, and this like Chinese bus driver was like drunk and like angry about some like completely different motorist who was like in his way. And instead of waiting for that driver to move, he like began jumping on like the woman's hood. Like, he starts fucking jumping up and down on her.
The Clark
hood.
method.
Yeah, the Clark method.
You're my
whipping
bitch.
it with a rubber snake.
You're my bitch.
So, like, she got out of the car because she was like, what the fuck? And like trying to like get away from this. And as soon as she got out of the car, the dude fucking like dove on her and started eating her goddamn face. Like, started eating this woman's face right there in the middle of the street.
Should have used her natural weapons. Jumping vampires aren't immune to weapons.
That's true. They didn't specify that. Yeah, so Like,
That's pretty nuts.
People were like,
So,
he was probably possessed by a Zhangxi.
Possessed by bath salts.
What happens if you jump the zombie and start eating it? What happens?
It just deletes.
It's like,
wait, what happened?
It's like, you solved my riddle. Like, solves it nothing.
I am free.
So the next kind that I have here is the Revenant. And so what a Revenant is a it's like an animated corpse that
anime
that like comes out of the ground and shit, and like in English mythology, like Middle Ages and stuff, they were like, it's a Revenant, but they're supposedly like
hand drawn.
They're supposedly intelligent and drink blood.
They're sophisticated, drinking tea.
Yeah. I mean, they're British, so that's pretty much all they do.
Twirling their mustache.
Yes.
That human is across the street. I'll get it when the light turns green.
It'd be great with a Earl Grey tea.
Steadfast.
Some
I'm
scones.
on my way to eat you.
Biscuits. Those aren't biscuits. Those are fucking cookies, okay? Those aren't biscuits. Those are cookies. You need to stop tricking people.
But then
They're crumpets.
What's a cookie then?
A cookie to them is still a fucking cookie. But a biscuit is a fucking cookie. So I don't understand. They're both cookies.
I think our biscuits are called wampets.
That sounds right. I don't know enough about British mythology
It's not.
to.
It's not right.
Look it up.
Don't let him pull this on you. So
what? That
It's
sounds
actually
right.
called a Crocker.
It's called a crumpet, but that might be right.
A soy sauce.
It's called a Wayne Brady.
It's called a syrup.
No.
They're called harbulary batteries.
Harbulary batteries.
Whirly
Where's
dervish.
Harbo?
It's a whirly dervish.
So the next one I have here is the Lich, which is a powerful magician who has used magic to bring himself back from the dead. They're like immortal and intelligent, like they have independent thought. Like Jesus.
He was a lich.
He's
What was
the
his
most well-known lich.
What was his phylactery?
Mary Magdalene.
Oh, okay. That's pretty rigged.
It's pretty rigged. So
Is Mother Teresa a lich?
not yet, but we have to give
Is
her a
she
little
still
bit of time.
alive?
No, she's dead.
Oh,
as,
okay.
She's dead as all get out.
Thank God. Wait,
Damn.
no, hold on.
But no, for real though, she was kind of not great.
No.
Like, there's a lot of stuff about her not being great.
Yeah.
Like, she literally got off like watching people like slowly die.
Yeah. She was really into it.
Like, way too into it. She's like, in order to get closer to God, I must be closer to suffering.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, woo.
So British. I had to look it up because I was curious. It's actually a scone. That's what they call scones.
So what is it?
What do they call scones?
Biscuits are scones.
Well,
Our biscuits are their scones.
What are
Their
our
biscuits
scones?
are our cookies.
What are our scones?
Jesus.
I don't
how
know.
deep
We
does
eat
this
fucking
go?
scones.
How deep does this
scone
go?
is very different from a biscuit.
Scone.
What do they call a scone then?
A wombulary.
I think it's a whirly derby.
Harbulary batteries. It's called a wombat.
It's called a schmackle.
15 schmackles.
Dude, I don't know, man. This is British are weird.
I'm gonna put a break right here so that we can figure out what that is.
In 2011, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, published a blog titled Preparedness 101: Zombie Apocalypse, to raise public awareness of emergency preparedness. But is a zombie apocalypse really possible? Today we'll be listing 5 most possible and scientific ways a zombie apocalypse could happen. Number 5 are neurotoxins. In 1962, a guy named Clervus Narcissus was declared dead by not just one doctor, but 2. He was buried in Haiti, but 18 years later, people found him wandering around the village. It seems the local voodoo priest had used a chemical found in nature and brought him back to life to work on sugar plantations. What caused this to happen were neurotoxins, like the ones found on blowfish, that can and will reanimate a human. These alkaloids slows bodily functions to the point that the person appears dead. The poison will revive that person and bring them back to life in a trance-like state. They will have no memory and will only be able to perform simple tasks, thus taking on the form of the walking dead. Number 4 is mad cow disease. There have always been a number of brain disorders that can turn a person violent. However, they have also never been contagious until humans encountered mad cow disease. The illness, also known as bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or BSE for short, is a virus that attacks a cow's nervous system, causing it to act strangely and lose control of its natural ability to do normal things, essentially becoming mentally ill. When humans eat the meat and is transmitted, they call it Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Some of the symptoms include changes in how the affected person walks, hallucinations, lack of coordination, muscle twitching, and seizures. If mad cow disease got out of control and it turned our delirium into rage and could be transmitted by blood, well then, humans are just a bite away from a zombie apocalypse. Number 3 are fungi. Ophiocordyceps is a genus of parasitic fungus whose species attack different species of insects in the jungles of Africa. For ants, the fungus infects the insect and quickly spreads throughout its body. Fungal cells in the ant's head release chemicals that hijacks the insect's central nervous system. The fungus forces the ant to climb up vegetation and clamp down onto a leaf or twig before killing its hapless drone. It then grows a spore-releasing stalk out of the back of the victim's head to infect more ants on the ground below. If you ask if Ophiocordyceps fungus could eventually evolve and infect humans, well, that's the plot of the post-apocalyptic game The Last of Us. Number 2 are brain parasites. Parasites that infect the brain and turn its cells into mindless, zombie-like slaves are fairly common in nature. There is a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii that lives in rats and can only breathe inside the intestines of a cat. The parasites take over the rat's brain to get itself eaten and spread the virus. So how can this cause a zombie apocalypse? Well, scientists say that half of the human population is already infected with Toxoplasma, and all it would take is a mild evolution for it to do to us what it does to rats. It is not so far-fetched as rats are pretty close to humans, and that is why they are using these rodents in medical testing. Number 1 are nanobots. Nanobots are devices constructed of nanoscale or molecular components ranging in size from 0.1 to 10 micrometers. These microscopic self-replicating robots can invisibly build or destroy anything. According to studies, within a decade, scientists will have created nanobots capable of crawling inside the human brain and creating neural connections to replace damaged ones. It will be able to rewire your innermost thoughts and will be programmed to keep you functioning after you die. Experts predict that someday, microscopic nanobots will have sufficiently evolved to end civilization by flooding the planet with the cannibalistic undead.
They don't make any sense.
They don't.
It can't be a biscuit and a cake.
What do they call a muffin?
Yeah, they call them Jolly Rogers. Who did this to your language?
What do they call cupcakes? Is it a cup scone?
Look, all I know is they obviously didn't learn English from us. Speak
American.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
You go into like a shop in British and you're like, yeah, let me get a biscuit And they're like, what flavor?
Biscuit flavor?
Biscuit flavored biscuit.
Like,
Bitch.
Biscuit flavored?
Just punch him.
Oh, you want a scone? No, I don't want that sugary shit. Give me a biscuit.
Give me a biscuit, motherfucker.
What's the biggest difference between British and American scones? It's really about the butter. When I lived in Scotland, it became clear that a true British scone is not as buttery. Not because the Brits are nutritious, but because they have shitty taste in food. I mean, but because in Britain, you don't put a lot of butter in because you slather butter on it when you eat it. By the same token, you don't put a lot of sugar in it, but you pile jam on top. They're
That's
probably
stupid.
equally injurious to one's diet, but in different, equally lovely ways.
Mm.
No.
I don't know.
That's dumb.
I kind of feel like it sucks.
Yeah.
Let me get the fish and chips.
How are you supposed to put gravy on a scone?
Right?
You can't put sausage gravy on a scone. That instantly makes it inferior.
I mean, I could.
I mean,
it wouldn't taste as good.
So the next thing I have here is probably the most famous of zombie cases. It's the Miami cannibal attack.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go off on a tangent about that centaur zombie. That's pretty famous.
That's pretty famous. So on May 26th of 2012, this dude Rudy Eugene attacked and maimed a man named Ronald Popo, who was like a homeless dude living in.
Sounds like a fake name.
He was like on the MacArthur Causeway in Florida, Miami, Florida, and like there was like the whole thing was like on film for like 18 minutes of it, of this guy being attacked by like a naked
they didn't
dude.
Go stop him. They just
Yeah, everybody's just filming it.
It was on like a security camera apparently, but
check this out. This dude's getting eaten by a zombie.
This dude's been eaten alive.
Apparently, Eugene accused Papo of stealing his Bible, beat him unconscious, took his pants, and then bit off most of his face above the beard, including his left eye, leaving him blind in both eyes.
How many people have had their faces attacked in Florida?
So,
all of them.
Believe it or not, there's actually been a few, and it's been like recently. Like there was that kid that walked out of the Applebee's during like dinner with his family, like this like WASP family. They're all like having dinner at Applebee's, and this kid like just like wanders out, and his parents are like, "Okay, bye, I guess." Like as he like walks like a couple miles down the road. I think it was somewhere between like 5 and 10 miles. Breaks into a couple's garage where like this couple are, like commences to stabbing them over and over, and then eats their faces. Like starts eating their faces, and then the police show up.
He just wanted something that tasted better than Applebee's.
I was about to say like, Applebee's definitely drove him to that.
It was like the 6th time they took him to Applebee's that week. That's just like all his parents.
I need some real fucking food.
He's like, I need something that tastes like anything.
The trick is they went to 6 different Applebee's just to pretend it was his birthday every single time. So he just kept hearing that happy birthday fucking song that they sing.
If it's half-priced apps all the time, that is the regular price of the appetizer. That's not a half-priced appetizer.
It's true.
It's lies.
But it says half price.
Yeah, but it's the price it always is. It's never not half-priced. That makes that the price of the appetizer.
Are you trying to tell me that Kohl's does the same thing? Because every time I go in there, every single rack is labeled sale.
It's not true.
Is it just because everything's for sale? Like, is that what that means?
It's because if you just market the actual price, no one buys it. You have to pretend that it's a sale. And then you're like, ooh.
So, apparently, this guy, Rudy Eugene, didn't have, like,
a face?
Didn't have...
He's got 2 first names.
Anything like super troubling in his background. He had like a couple of petty arrests,
couple priors,
like starting from the age of 16.
He's got a gun,
and it's stuff like he didn't need it. He didn't need the gun if he had one.
Yeah, natural weapons.
Yeah, he had biting teeth. So this motherfucker, like
I think most teeth are for biting.
Well, these are like extra
teeth.
biting.
My
these
teeth
are like +2 to
biting.
These are plus 2 to biting.
My teeth are for slurping.
So this guy... so you're British. Because British teeth are...
Not good.
Not good. They're renowned for having poor dental hygiene. So this guy, Rudy Eugene, he had just basically like had lunch with his family, and said like, "Bye, I have to go run some errands," and then isn't seen the whole rest of the day until he's suddenly on the side of the highway, buck naked, eating a dude's face. And he was like a normalish guy. He didn't have any kinds of like ridiculous issues or anything, right?
Except the face eating.
Except apparently for the face eating
and the biting teeth.
So apparently, like in the aftermath, everybody's like, it was fucking bath salts. This guy was on bath salts. He must have been on bath salts. That's why he did this shit, right? So they run a tox screen on him. Nothing. He had nothing in his system. This guy just decided to eat another person's face.
Maybe he had some Chianti and some fava beans.
That's the only thing that goes with it.
It's true. Chianti and fava beans. So yeah, the guy literally like had no fucking no drugs in his system at all. That's like his last mugshot there.
It kind of looks like Keegan-Mike and
like 2 years earlier
from Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah. Looks like his name's Quattro.
Quattro.
Yeah, my name is Quattro.
That's Ronald Popo.
What's some of those names from that fucking skit? My name is
Construction Noise. The player formerly known as Mouse Cop.
So,
oh man.
The next thing I have here is about Haitian zombies. So, like, this is another like real life zombie thing, right? So basically,
about them Haitians.
the idea of zombies first started showing up in like Haitian folklore in like the 17th and 18th centuries, when like France used to like rule the country, and they were bringing in like African slaves to work on sugar plantations and stuff, and under the French were like ridiculously brutal as far as like slave drivers go. Like half the slaves that were brought in from Africa were already worked to death within like a few years of being brought in, because the French just didn't give a fuck. They were like, no, we're gonna run them into the ground, like Ford owners. Is basically, they were like the Ford owners of slavery, which is fucking ridiculous. So
that's racist.
These guys,
you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna become a zombie.
I'm gonna become a zombie. So yeah, they basically found a way to take death and make it like a powerful thing instead of like a depressing thing. Is basically what they had to do in order to keep from being fucking depressed all the time about it.
They just had to eat a cube of unrefined sugar right before they died, and it turned them into a zombie.
So, basically these basically from there it ends up evolving into where a zombie is someone who's been brought back by a Bokor, or like a sorcerer, and
they had sorcerers too.
Yeah.
How were they enslaved?
So the person is like brought back by the sorcerer that like I never said they were good sorcerers. So
they're like Jubilee. They can make like sparks and shit.
Yeah, and zombies. So the Bokor could bring you back from death, but you were forced to work for him. Like, so he'd bring you back to be his slave. Is basically what the Bokor would do. By like
slaves owning slaves.
So like zombies were supposedly like not dangerous unless you fed them salt, which would bring them back to their senses. supposedly. And so, like,
there's salt in everything. How did they avoid that? Especially
just
on
don't
an
give them
island.
salt.
Pocket salt.
I mean, like, if they just touched the ocean, they would just be like, oh.
No, you have to feed them salt.
Okay.
Yeah. They can't just touch it and then they're like...
Yeah, but I mean...
You have to really monitor their sodium intake.
Yeah, you have to literally give it to them.
No ramen.
Don't give your zombie ramen, because then they snap out of it.
So they probably just ate pure sugar then. Because they're on a sugar plantation.
That's true.
A lot of sugar.
So,
sugar.
So in 1980... in 1980... Everybody's going about their Haitian business.
Oh wait, no, they're French.
They're in this like Haitian village. Everybody's doing the Haitian village thing, hanging out, and this guy comes like stumbling into town, and he says that he's Clairvius Narcisse, who had apparently. And the thing is, though, Clairvius Narcisse had actually died in Albert Schweitzer Hospital in a completely different city in Haiti, literally 20 years before. So this guy had like been dead for 20 years, and he shows up in this town, and he's like, "Yo,"
he just shows up really confused.
Like I'm not like I'm this guy.
What year is it?
And they ended up proving that it was that guy. Like they went back and dug up his grave, and it was empty. Like the guy.
Oh shit! Was this like a Haitian Monte Cristo
situation? So here's what happened.
Is that a new type of sandwich?
This guy had apparently been. He claimed
it's full of sugar.
This guy claimed that a Bokor had resurrected him and made him a zombie. Is what he said. He's like, I was a zombie. I was working on this plantation for this Bokor for 20 years. Is what he said. And so people were like, holy shit! Like. This is literally that guy who supposedly died 20 years ago. And when they did tests on him, they found he had this weird like toxin in his blood, which was a type of pufferfish venom.
I knew it.
And so literally it's like these Bokors were actually a real thing where these people would mix these different drugs together and like do like the voodoo rituals and stuff and mix them together, and they'd slip it to the person to put them in a state of death, basically, because it's like a neurotoxin, so it like shuts down the higher functions of the brain, and then they go back, and that person is completely compliant. It mirrors death for like a certain amount of time, and then that person is completely compliant, and they're like, yo, come on, man, let's go fucking work on my plantation for 20 fucking years before you snap out of it.
I'm pretty sure I'd be immune to that, because you said it only affects higher brain function. I don't have any of that.
Only lower brain function for me. No problem. That's why I put my faith in WEED, because it will protect me from anything. That's like why
when they said stay in school, I said no thanks.
That was so simple but so funny. I said no, thank you.
I'm good.
I'm okay.
I'm becoming a zombie.
So that's like these Haitian dudes, they're all like French. Is that what it is? But so they just ate a whole bunch of butter.
So like this guy Wade Davis, like he was like an anthropologist and like an ethnobotanist from the U.S. He's the one who found out like the actual concoction to like make the zombies and stuff. But the government was actually trying to figure out how to use that too as part of a callback to one of our other episodes, MK Ultra. They took a lot of interest in this guy's research and all his notes. And
not surprising at all.
Not surprising at all. So
I just see them sliding in. What you got going on over here? Why don't you tell me about that pufferfish venom?
Dr. Rebecca Carley is a medical doctor, a surgeon by trade. Her son got vaccine damage. She began to investigate it. And I think some of her research is some of the best I've seen out there, because I've done a lot of this research myself from, mainline government sources that aren't publicized but are public. They're there, they're not widely put out. And so her stuff just clicks. And so I wanted reintroduce what happened, what broke last week, what happened a few months ago, why it's so serious, and then let's get into the big picture, Doctor. I really appreciate you coming on today.
And I appreciate the opportunity. And before we get into that, I was listening to your show earlier talking about the Alabama shooter. I totally agree with you that he was most likely on Prozac or some other psychotropic med.
Well, it's coming out the German was under psychiatric care, so he's guaranteed on it, but go ahead.
Right. I just want to bring out the fact that vaccinations can also cause violent behavior. There's an excellent book entitled Vaccination, Social Violence, and Criminality by Harris Coulter, which the listeners can obtain from thinktwice.com. And there's certain areas of the brain that, in fact, lead you to become violent. I have in front of me a book published by NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, called The Biology of Aggression, which is, it's over 600 pages long. They're actually researching to see what areas of the brain they can affect to make people violent, and they're using rabies virus to do so.
Yes. Now, Doctor, I've read the major university and medical facility reports, but for those that don't know why it causes it or the brain damage, normally it is a autoimmune response, massive brain swelling, and as we all know, brain damage is associated with violent outburst and a loss of impulse control. And, of course, there's other chemical reasons it does it, but is that not basically the main reason?
Yes, that's completely correct. Once you get injected with viruses, if they go to your brain, they cause vaccine-induced encephalitis, and depending on what part of the brain is damaged will determine what symptoms you have. The parts of the brain that control behavior and make you violent are primarily the limbic system, especially the amygdala, which is near the ear.
And by the way, Dr. Russell Blaylock, who is a top brain surgeon, even invented some famous brain procedures, one of the top guys in the world, he discovered all this in his practice, okay, how vaccines literally attack the brain. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. This has been known for years. But the point I want to make is that the scientists are actually researching how to make people violent. This is something that they want to have happen. I encourage all the listeners to watch the movie recently released on DVD entitled Quarantine, which actually shows them experimenting with rabies and making the people become basically ghouls. So this is more evil than you can even imagine.
Absolutely. Stay there. Back in 70 seconds. Dr. Rebecca Carley, give out your website and a lot more, and then I'm just going to try to control myself. I just want to back up everything you're saying because I know it's true. And then let's just walk through the vaccine history, what we're dealing with, how devastating this bird flu situation being, well, they were trying to mix it with vaccines, could have been over in Europe and 18 nations. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen, and the evil ones are amongst us. Here on the planet, it is up to the good people to stand up against the New World Order. Dr. Rebecca Carley, medical doctor, surgeon by training, is our guest. Okay. Try to give us as much info packed in as you can because I know it's just incredible knowledge you have. And first off, fire out your website for folks that want to see all this footnoted and documented.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's the www.drcarley.com. That's DRCARLEY.com. I encourage the listeners to sign up for the updates on my site. I send out important information on a regular basis. There's so much information there, but my paper, Inoculations, the True Weapons of Mass Destruction, explains how the vaccines corrupt the immune system, because a very important point that people need to know, it's not just the infections that they're causing. The injection of the viruses directly into your bloodstream, bypassing the upper respiratory and GI tracts, actually causes your immune system to turn on yourself. So therefore, all autoimmune diseases, non-traumatic seizures, cancer, and genetic damage is caused by vaccines. And this is proven in a recent article on my site entitled The Science of Vaccine Damage, which is research done by non-pharma-funded veterinarians that have proven that the vaccines, once they create antibodies, can attack any part of your body. So this is the biggest epidemic the world has ever known, vaccine-induced diseases. I also encourage the listeners to read my response to the CDC's Public Health Protection Guide, because in that document, I actually document how in my own medical books, you see, Alex, I'm sure you know, the medical doctors are totally sleep-deprived, brainwashed, and nutritionally deprived. You go in there like a zombie and you just regurgitate out what they tell you. you don't actually let it into your consciousness and critically evaluate it. But in my book, Harrison's Principles of Internal Medicine, the 6th edition, on page 943, I actually found the following quote: "Rarely is prevention of infection considered to be an important goal of vaccination. In fact, asymptomatic infection can serve to enhance and prolong the immune response. Rarely is prevention of infection considered to be an important goal of vaccination. In fact, asymptomatic infection can serve to enhance and prolong the immune response." What that means is that once they're injected directly into your bloodstream, you're not able to push these viruses out. They remain in your body, they mutate, they cause all kinds of havoc, they recombine with other viruses, and that brings us into the Baxter situation, where this company released the flu vaccine that was mysteriously contaminated with the H5N1 bird flu virus. And I want to just mention that the smoking gun in this case was contained in an article written by Helen Branswell of the Canadian Press on February 27th, where she actually states that this company, Baxter, where they had this experimental virus material made at the Orthodontal Research Facility, they not only make the flu vaccine, but they also make the bird flu vaccine. And they're expecting their license shortly. So isn't it amazing, Alex, that they released this to 18 countries and they've got a vaccine for bird flu just waiting to be sold? So this is obviously what their intention was, to open this Pandora's box, and then they would step forward with the alleged cure.
Well, you know, even the Czech Republic newspapers, mainstream ones, were saying this looks like it could be staged, and saying what you just said.
There's no other explanation for it. And I want to also ask the listeners to consider, what is the difference between this and what happened with the anthrax mailings? There's no way this can't be intentional, because they have this, as I said, smoking gun where they are making a vaccine that they will sell once the bird flu is unleashed. So we had the situation where they sent anthrax in mailings, which they've sent bird flu in mailings. We called this a crime. And why isn't that a crime? These people should be persecuted and prosecuted and put in jail for unleashing this on the public, and we still don't know what's going to happen. I think we're going to start hearing about bird flu very soon.
All right, stay there. Let's talk about that when we get back. Yeah, for those that don't know, the White House was on Cipro, the anthrax-fighting antibiotic. They own the stock on September 10th, and that was admitted in the Associated Press. Ari Fleischer admitted the whole White House knew because they launched the attack. No, they have secret death squads that wanted to be dictators, but they wouldn't launch the anthrax, just a government. That's why I believe the enemy's going to stage terror attacks and mass shootings and a lot of other things, and start new wars, as the Rand Corporation said they want to do. I mean, they tell us what they're going to do. It's not like I'm predicting it. Like reading the TV guide. And false flag is, I don't think on the horizon. I think it's here with us now. I think they've got their finger on the button, and it says, just push the button. From him and here, just one button I push. And the New World Order is a lot more nasty, secretive globalist than Dick Cheney running around with secret hit squads and the rest of it, like we covered last hour. It's just so important what we're dealing with. You know, Dr. Rebecca Carley, when you were on with me briefly for 30 minutes last week, you said, oh, what about this article with all the homeless dying from shots in Europe for bird flu, and it kills them, and investigations? And what about this and that? And I was pulling up everything you were saying. It was all mainstream news. I hadn't seen it. I didn't know. And they keep hyping bird flu, bird flu. It's going to get you. Billions will die. Bird flu, bird flu. Give up all your rights. Bird flu, bird flu. What do you see happening here? Please continue.
Well, as I said, I think the horse is already out of the barn. All of these people that were exposed to this mailing from Baxter have already been exposed to the bird flu, and we don't know how many people are incubating it right now as we speak and are going to end up coming out with the bird flu. And it's truly chilling. Let's see.
Well, let me stop you. I mean, that's quite an announcement, but people are already dying in cases all over the world, and in the London Telegraph and other places, they'll never say. It'll say authorities in Poland with the 23 dead from the 360 given at one homeless clinic. The homeless clinic says they were, misled by pharmacological companies that it was regular flu vaccine. but they were paid to tell the homeless that it was just regular, and then it killed them. And people are dying, and then they also are reporting on this HPV live cancer virus, saying it could mutate. They're admitting on CBS News it's killing people.
Okay, so this fucking guy, I was telling you about the guy who attacked the couple in the garage.
Is this the Applebee's guy?
Yeah, the Applebee's guy. This was in 2016 in Florida, and so this couple were like relaxing in their garage. Which they turned into like kind of like a lounge area. Mm-hmm. So they had like couches and stuff in there where they would like sit in the evenings a lot of times and just like hang out and kind of enjoy the weather because it's Florida. So why not?
Did they have a jazz pianist?
They were maxing, relaxing, all cool.
Yeah,
shooting some b-balls.
So some guy came making trouble in their neighborhood.
This was one little fight, and then the mom got scared.
This was 2 years ago.
He got one face bit.
This guy, 19-year-old Florida State University sophomore Austin Harroff, comes walking into their garage and just fucking attacks them, like for no fucking reason, like just jumps them. He apparently stabbed them to death before he started mauling the husband, and the first thing the authorities saw when they got there was him like crouched over the dude in the driveway, choking him and biting pieces off his face. Like, so the sheriff who got there said, quote, "I've never seen a scene that had this much savagery and this much violence ever."
And I bet they didn't shoot this guy, did they?
He was biting the victim in the face area and the abdomen area, and we did recover some remnants of human tissue from his mouth. So, efforts to apprehend the ravenous man were met with shocking displays of sheer physical strength. So they're like, literally, like, apparently this guy, like, they stick a canine on him, and he, like, gets the canine off of him, and, like, a bunch of officers tried to, like, get on him, and he's, like, supposedly throwing them around like fucking rag dolls. Like, they're fighting the fucking Hulk. Like, Cannibal Hulk, like, in the middle of the fucking driveway here. And they're shooting him with stun guns, and it's doing nothing. They're shooting him with, like, the bean bags. It's doing nothing.
Yeah, that zombie's turn.
And then, apparently,
it
took, like, 4 dudes, like, to physically restrain him, and he's still, like, snarling and snapping and stuff. And then, after, like, not long after they, like, finally get him cuffed, he passes out, and he's in a fucking coma. Like he goes into a coma in the hospital. And, so, everybody was like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? Like, what is the deal with this guy? Like, because he literally just walked from, like, a fucking Applebee's where he was having dinner with his dad, just walked out of the Applebee's and walked to this random couple's house and attacked them. Didn't know them, no connection to them, nothing. Just random people he decided to attack. And they were like, thinking he must have been on like Flocka or something. They were like, he's on Flocka or Crocodile or one of those drugs that like makes you go crazy. But actually, he was completely clean. He had nothing in his system either. Which is kind of fucking horrifying. So I wanted to go into that one.
I don't even know what to say about that. That's just freaking ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. He's like throwing cops and canines. But here's the big thing, which really pisses me off, which you totally hit on, is they did not fucking shoot him to death. Like a black dude's hanging out in his yard with like a fucking like shower head in his hand. They shoot him 90 fucking times. This guy is eating someone's face on the fucking ground and throwing police like rag dolls.
Is there like a mugshot on this guy?
But like they never wanted to. Yeah, he's like a 19-year-old white kid.
Yep. So if you're a white kid, you can literally just like eat people's faces, and the cops are gonna like
throw cops around like rag dolls. Yeah. They aren't in fear for their life though.
They're not,
because you're white. So
exactly.
They don't have to kill
it's all
you.
about that skin color.
They got the chart.
If they walk up and you're choking and ripping someone's face off and eating it, they're like, "Excuse me,
sir, would you stop that, sir?
Excuse me,
sir.
We've received reports of illegal downloads.
We got a call from Applebee's. They said that you were here."
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Sir, excuse me, I was talking. We're gonna have to arrest you, sir.
It's like reading his Miranda rights while he's
like
just hurling cars at them,
ripping their dogs in half, but they keep sicking at him, and like,
sir,
throwing bits at the cops.
Please put my dog back together.
Sir, you're gonna make us have to give you a sterner warning. So yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. So there's basically, in modern culture, we basically have two different kinds of zombies that we understand. We have the fast zombies and the slow zombies.
There's no medium zombies?
There's no medium zombies.
I'm
So,
zombie.
Like a shuffler.
So what do you know
like
about
a power walker.
Speed walk. Yeah.
What do you know about fast zombies, Palmer?
They're pretty fast.
Do you think
like Kenyan zombies?
Do you think
they're
that
not fast? They're just really good at running long distances.
They're sprinting zombies or endurance zombies. So, like, what do you think of fast zombies, Ryan?
So fast zombies, that's like your 28 days later zombie.
Yeah.
And then you got your slow zombies, that's like Walking Dead zombies.
Like, how is 28 days later fast? Isn't that really slow? Like, you have to wait 28 days just to see it.
Because everything's dead within those 28 days. Because
they're so fast.
Yeah. But Walking Dead, you know, as long as you have a camera pointed in like every direction, you're good. Because they can only sneak up outside the camera.
Yeah, they have to be outside the camera in order to sneak up on
slow.
you.
Otherwise, they stand no chance.
But they're like...
just get like a helmet strapped with like 360 no scope view.
It's GoPros everywhere.
Of GoPros, yeah. One goes out.
Pretty much.
So, like, a lot of people are like zombie purists, where they're like, there can't be fast zombies. They have to be slow zombies. And I'm like, dude, like, fast zombies can be cool too, because like,
I don't think
like,
any kind of zombies.
Slow zombies are boring. Like, they can be really boring. Like, they were played out for a long time before fast zombies came. Now fast zombies are the thing that's boring, and people like the slow ones better. But it's like...
then you got your problem-solving zombies.
See, that to me was like the scariest thing about The Walking Dead when it started. The zombies were using like simple tools.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're picking up rocks and hitting windows with them.
Changing tires.
Yeah, yeah. Operating tanks. Simple tools. And somehow...
using drones.
And somehow that just went away as the show went on. Like,
I want to see like a tech school advertisement, but they're all like
they're all zombies.
Yeah. Where he's like like the lead at a construction supervisor.
He's got
his hard hat and like the stack of papers.
It's like those those IT tech commercials. It's like him chewing on someone else's like head while they're like trying to weld together a boat or something. Like, holy shit. But
that zombie makes mad money now.
You had to pick zombie apocalypse. Which would you rather have, slow or fast zombies?
Oh, slow for days.
Yeah, slow for days. That's what I say too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The thing about the fast zombies that's really scary when you think about it is like they are so fast that the news wouldn't have time to react to the fact that these zombies are infecting people. Like when the infection started,
it's over.
They would be so fucking quick, like spreading, that before the news reported on it, like half the city would already be turned into fucking zombies.
The news is busy reporting on super important things like
Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, like Paris Hilton's dog dying. You know, that's something that they would be reporting.
It's important. Cardi B is pregnant, y'all, and everybody needs to know.
She ain't married. It's out of wedlock. She's a hoe.
Everyone knows you can't kiss before marriage, or else you both become pregnant.
Wow. Whoa.
And
what are you, a fucking
and the baby
heathen?
turns into snakes.
I don't even hold hands before marriage. I don't even look at my bride.
I will say though, the one good thing about the fast zombie apocalypse, it's really funny when
quick.
they trip.
Dude, just
having the house set up with a whole bunch of trip lines all around, and then just be like, I mean, I'm gonna die, but this is gonna be hilarious. And they're running full sprint at you, and just
Dude, you know what? You know what the best solution for the fast zombie apocalypse would be? Surround your house with like incredibly tense fishing wire, just all around your house, and they just fucking cheese grade themselves trying to run at you. Just sit outside, like hitting the bong, and they're just ripping to shreds, running through the wires.
The problem I have with that is eventually you would still die because it would just start piling up and slowly crushing you to death from all this.
Well, it depends on how many keep coming.
Well,
because
keep
like.
coming.
Because if you have enough time to clean it in between waves, it wouldn't be that bad. You could like go out and spray it with the hose.
Gotta hose it down.
Gotta hose down the zombie wires real quick. Then go back inside.
I'm pretty sure if the zombie apocalypse happens, I would just go become a zombie immediately.
Just like in the queue.
I'm just like,
is this the queue to become a zombie?
I'd already be a zombie when it happened. I would have no idea it was happening.
I'd be patient zero.
No.
You'd be outside smoking, so
yeah, I'd be eating.
Yeah.
I'd be like, is that a homeless guy? What's that guy's problem? And then he's like, hey man, get away from me, I'm busy. And then like by that
your
point,
death screams will be our warning.
Yeah.
Our warning system.
I would just go lock the door. Shame. Click.
Oh,
help me! Let me in!
Please let me in.
I'm just like staring at the people like there's a zombie behind you.
If I wasn't already bitten and you locked the door on me, I'd break that window. I'd come in through the window. I'd be like, fuck it, you're getting zombie too. Lock me outside.
Sitting there like eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Come on, man.
How do you break the window for?
Zombie! And then, like, the three of us could probably take it out if it was one zombie.
Absolutely.
And if it was more than
it'd
one
be
zombie.
two zombies. I'd be a zombie. Oh shit, zombies.
You're just like, you just walk over to the side of the zombies.
You're like, sorry guys, they're gonna win.
You start acting like a zombie. Dick!
Smear myself with like blood. Just,
I'm a zombie too.
Good thing you didn't have them biting teeth.
Yeah.
Dude, you're gumming me.
Stop gumming me, God. Although he could end up giving us one of those blood clot hickeys, like the guy from last week. We'd just be fucking dead from a blood clot.
I prefer it to get eaten.
What about to getting turned?
I get turned all the time. What
do you think? Like, I think it would be really painful to turn into a zombie. I don't think it would be like a gentle, like, I have the flu and now I'm asleep and now I'm a zombie. I don't think it would be that. I think it would be like your body having to decay over like a period of like
I would
days.
focus my chi so intensely that I would kill the zombie virus.
Like Elvis.
Exactly like Elvis.
Oh my god. I'm too high. Oh man.
He's just now I'm trying to picture Elvis just like oh
girl. You ain't enough to butter change. So yeah.
That's how he died.
I'd take slow zombies over
He
fast
was
zombies.
focusing all his chi trying to poop. Blew out his asshole. Died.
One of the weirder theories that I came across is you know how like some alien abductees come back with like implants. They'll have like these weird half organic, half like metallic things in them. There's like a pretty famous documentary about this guy who used to be a dental surgeon and then started like dedicating his life instead to like removing these implants. So one of the most people think that the implants are like a way to track you, like basically like they're tagging you for like study, tagging you and releasing you back in the wild. But some people have like a theory where what they're actually for is when the time comes, they're gonna hit those things and they're gonna turn you into like a zombie for the aliens, so that you turn on everyone else. So it'd be like Invasion of the Body Snatchers shit, where you're like, yeah, and turn against.
How do I get one of these implants?
Everybody else. You gotta be abducted.
Craigslist.
that works too. You can check Craigslist.
Wake up with one lung. What the fuck?
You can do anything on Craigslist except get a hooker now because they got rid of the classifieds, so you can't.
No, it's just in code.
Yeah, no, it's
pretty
just
sure
in
you
code.
still could.
It's not actually a used PS4.
It's like used PS4. You show up and it's like fucking like Eastern European dude, like
no, it's
smoking a cigar, like leading you to like a back room.
I'm sure
like,
I'm sure it's a listing that's like PS4 parts and games, and it just lists like one controller, $10, 2 controllers, $20,
2 controllers
console,
in a game,
$400. Like
no ass to mouth.
Yeah, it just has no ass to mouth. Yeah.
All games, controllers, and console, $400. No ass to mouth. What?
What?
The hell have I been doing with this PS4?
I'm interested in the PS4.
That's why you don't buy things off Craigslist.
I'm interested in your PS4. Where you want to meet, sugar?
Walmart?
Yeah, like there's a police station down the road.
Can we just meet at McDonald's? Like, I like to do this somewhere public. Oh, you crazy!
Oh, hell no!
Just like in the ball pit at McDonald's.
I'm also looking for an
that's
Xbox.
A ball pit, all right.
Now it is. Yeah.
I'm also interested in the Xbox One. You want both? Yes.
Come out smelling like piss and French fries.
That's what happens every time you go to McDonald's.
That's true. So, if you guys had to pick, where do you think the safest place during a zombie apocalypse would be?
Madagascar.
Yeah.
Madagascar? So, like, an island.
The moon.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one. But here's the thing: we played Dead Space, so
International
that
Space
might
Station.
not be
That's
the
like
best
the worst place.
Yeah, because the zombies there were scarier than anywhere else.
It's true.
They had like fucking like lictor claws and
death babies.
Yeah, death. Oh, those fucking death babies, man.
I think.
And the regenerator.
I think I would ask NASA to send me to the International Space Station.
When he has to do like the laser thing on his
For no
eye,
reason.
like
Yeah.
line up the laser with your eye. Oh God!
Let's fuck that part up.
Oh, I hated that shit. Just like dying in the worst fucking ways over and over and over and over. So, the top safest places are.
My answer would probably be Midwest.
Wait, how do
Midwest?
they know these are the safest places?
It's just like
Desert.
it's a vote thing. People voted for what
Like-
the safest place would be.
Like, I've read a couple articles about how, zombies are still gonna get fucked up majorly by exposure, so you just want to live in, like, harsh climates.
I was about to say, I would
It's
just
gonna
go
wreck the zombies
Yeah,
harder
go
than any
live at
weapon.
Point Burrow or whatever,
Yeah.
where it's like fucking negative 30 all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah, they just freeze to death.
Yep.
Like you just have a
They,
bunch
actually,
of
they
zombie
wouldn't
sickles
freeze to
out there.
death. They would just kind of like
Be immobilized.
They'd be like,
Yeah. And then just decay.
Yeah.
While I'm, like, drinking tea, getting lit.
Getting crunk. So so these are basically the places that honestly I would avoid during a zombie apocalypse because they're the top 5 places people voted for what they thought would be the safest place to be. So that means you're going to be fighting more people in these places than zombies. And it's a lot easier to fight a zombie than a person.
Yeah, you would much rather fight zombies.
Much rather fight zombies than people.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
number 5 is a military base. People think that military bases would be super safe in the zombie apocalypse, but no, they wouldn't, because as soon as you showed up, the military would gun you down outside because they ain't letting you in, so you can infect everybody. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I would
Get
not
the
go
fuck
there.
out of here!
No.
They're gonna mow you down. Number 4 is the mountains. People think if you go to the mountains that it'll be
Better, but
better.
Still
But
not good enough.
I don't think it's good enough because also if I learned anything from The Walking Dead, if there are trees anywhere around you, you suddenly become blind to zombies.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the zombies cease to exist until the camera finds them when there's trees everywhere.
Isn't that what happened in Lord of the Rings in Moria? Didn't zombies get to all those dwarves? Kill them all? Is that what happened?
No, those are goblins.
Goblins.
Same thing.
Yeah, no.
Goblins are way worse.
Goblins are pretty bad. Zombie goblins would be real bad. Number 3, a yacht. Is apparently what people think.
Yeah, that would just be a resource issue.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I wouldn't go to a yacht. I go for like aircraft carrier, like something like that, because that's big enough. You could make a city on it. You could get like more people there, and then you'd have like a large enough force on like that aircraft carrier to fend off things and like sustain a population.
Yeah.
So,
but eventually you wouldn't be able to port anywhere, and you would just all starve to death.
Well, what you do is you port like you put it in like the bay, and then you take the little ships. Like
no, I'm saying you wouldn't be able to get on shore because everybody on shore would be a zombie at some point. So eventually you wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Dying.
Well, no, because like an aircraft carrier can stay at sea for like if it's a nuclear one for like what 50 years.
Yeah, they have like 50 years.
So as long as you have a way to sustain your food and water and stuff for that amount of time, by the time you have to go back to port, all the zombies are realistically gone.
They'd probably have rotted to death. Yeah,
exactly. Because there's no way for them to sustain themselves that long.
That's true.
Deer.
They're fucking farming. You're just like, son of a bitch.
You come zombies and bastard agriculture while you're like trying to outlast them.
They're just like fucking like farming organs and
Dude,
shit.
did you ever see Land of the Dead?
Yeah.
They learned how to use guns.
Yeah, that's true.
They just figured it out again. So maybe
what if like they just take our cattle farms and stuff and just keep running them? Like the zombie farmers are like, back to work.
What if they start grabbing up people to make them breed to be cattle for them? In like all these farms.
I would just chop off my dick.
Joke's on you. The zombies like
castrate
what?
Yourself. Castrate yourself, just like
the zombies like
you just suck my dick and then you throw it out.
And then you jump out the window. Well, the zombie is confused by being slapped in the face with your dick.
All the zombies
you jump out the window.
All the zombies just like.
They just all turn into Tim Allen. So, and then the other ones are an underground bunker or an island, are the other places people think would be the safest. I think you double down. You get an island and an aircraft carrier. That way, you can farm on the island, but be mobile on the aircraft carrier to keep from.
I'm thinking like Alaska or Canada, somewhere like so cold they'll never get to you.
Yeah,
Alaska gets to like 60, 70 degrees in summer though. So
yeah, well, like parts of it, like up in the mountains and stuff.
I'm sure you can get high enough that it would be cold. Too cold for them.
Shit, it's cold.
So like,
dude, it's 80. Shit.
Like, I totally agree with that plan. Except I feel really uncomfortable taking a boat anywhere where it freezes because we've been watching The Terror.
Yeah,
and then,
true.
That scares the shit out of me.
Pretty sure I'd go to Florida.
Florida.
They would never look for you at their home starting base.
You're just like going down the highway and there's like all the zombies are going north.
Yeah,
you're the only one going south.
I'm in a regular old my car, just like listening to tunes, driving down fucking.
And Florida's mostly old people, so they're already half decaying anyway.
And they're already
super
slow.
They decay even faster.
Yeah, like all the zombies are going to be heading north by the time you get there because they've eaten everything down there.
Yeah, you just have to worry about the meth head zombies. Those are the only ones you'd have to worry about. Like a zombie strung out on meth, that's bad. So, what if you guys had to pick a weapon for the apocalypse? Let's start with melee weapons. What melee weapon would you choose, Ryan?
Chuck Norris.
Just swinging Chuck Norris at people.
No, I would just go to his house and be like, all right, man, I'm going to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Hey, is it cool if I crash on the couch for the next 30 years?
Yes.
Dibs.
He probably lets you. He seems like a decent enough guy.
No, seriously, I'm thinking giant three-sided ninja star from Naruto.
So, is that technically a melee weapon or a ranged weapon?
It's both.
Oh shit, that's smart.
Nah.
You're consolidating.
I think out of what I could read, yeah.
That's melee, right?
That's a kind of
it's technically melee range.
Something I could realistically find pretty easily, I'd probably go with a bat.
A bat?
Yeah, I'd probably go with a bat.
How is a wielding an animal going to help you out?
Just throw it.
Is this like
right in their face?
Is this like the Chuck Norris thing? Are you trying to say Batman?
Yeah.
You're trying to say you're going to bring Batman?
I'm just
going
to become Batman.
Why would you bring a bat? Like, what makes a bat work?
Because it's something that doesn't run out of ammo, and you can just wail on their heads.
That's true. So, what would you bring, Palmer?
Realistically?
Yeah.
That chandelier.
Like swinging the chain around.
I would break off the
Chandelier.
candle parts and just use the bottom half as like a mace.
That'd be pretty sick.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah, you probably could, honestly.
When the hell did Palmer master the 3-section staff?
The fucking cloth stick. Where did he get a cloth stick?
What would you use?
Someone wrecking everyone. I'd probably use.
Bong.
I'd probably use something like a crowbar, because like it's a blunt edge thing, like to hit them with the crowbar.
Or you can stab.
Yeah, or you could stab if you wanted, but like if you're hitting them with the blunt end, which means it's less likely to get stuck on them, and then also it's a tool. So you can use it to like get into boarded up buildings or things like that.
It's also a
so
tool.
it's basically less weight that you have to carry on you because you don't have to have like something for opening buildings and something for bashing heads. You have like just the thing that does both.
I would go with Nippon Steel.
Nippon Steel. No joke, dude. I was looking.
Kitana.
I was looking at like this dude's blog earlier on here. He literally like went through and not only did he put like 8 of the best weapons for killing zombies, but he put Amazon links for where you could buy them.
Nice.
Like one of which he put is a sword, and it has the Blades USA HK 1482 series Red Flame Samurai Fantasy Sword from Amazon. And I started laughing so hard because look at this fucking thing. It looks like a Batman weapon.
It does.
Like, look at it. It looks
sick.
like something that like a Klingon or somebody would have.
Oh, what do they call those?
Batlift.
Yes,
Yeah,
Batlift.
Batlift.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that'd be dope. You could use that as a crowbar too. It's like curved, so
Definitely.
It
probably
also weighs
probably
600
try
pounds.
things with it.
Because I'm not a Klingon.
Or
that's why you got to get those carbon fiber batlifts.
I would
They
say
don't
a
hold an
hatchet
edge.
would work too. You could just hit them with the blunt side of the hatchet instead of the sharp side.
I would get a shovel and sharpen it.
Yeah.
That's a tool.
They had that in
And a shovel.
the book World War Z.
Yeah.
The military had like these crazy like battle axe shovels, which would be really dope if they actually worked.
They have a survival tool that's a shovel / axe that I've seen people using in like survival videos and stuff.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's like 2.5 feet long or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking cool.
Something they never go into in like most apocalyptic stuff is like all the guns and shit. Like all the gunpowder decays over time.
Oh, yeah.
So no matter how much ammo you stockpile, it's only going to do you good for a little while.
But I watched the original Star Trek, and he makes gunpowder real easily when fighting that lizard dude in the best episode of Star Trek
That is
ever.
true. That is true.
That's true. It's not that difficult.
You just
to
need
make.
some magnesium and those other 2 rocks he found, and you just kind of mash them up in a giant thing of bamboo, and it turns into gunpowder. Perfectly fine.
How many
gunpowder.
years would it take for the black powder to
I think it's a matter of months.
7
months.
Yeah, before
So,
like if it's like it has a shelf life. I don't know what the actual shelf life is, but it's not too long. Months or 1 or 2 years probably.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very long.
When it's like
it's just sitting on the shelf, yeah, it can go bad.
Oh man. So like you'd have to collect it within those couple months and put it in a fridge? Is that what you do?
No, you'd want to freeze it.
Would you?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like,
also, gasoline goes bad too.
Oh yeah.
So Walking Dead, when they're just running around finding guns and bullets and driving cars, shit doesn't work.
Nah. Yeah, you'd be fucked too fast.
Yeah.
You need a horse.
Yeah.
And you need a way to keep that horse alive, so
Yeah.
you need like horse armor.
Yeah. So basically, you got to go medieval in the real apocalypse.
Yeah.
Unless you know how to actually make your own, recycle your firing pins, make your own gunpowder, case your own bullets. Refine your own gasoline.
Which obviously I do. I'm not I'm not a completely paranoid conspiracy theorist for no reason, Ryan. Obviously I know how to distill gasoline. Obviously. They think they're gonna catch me off guard? I know what I'm doing.
I don't think so.
I ain't worried about zombies.
It says black powder lasts forever. As long as it stays dry.
Maybe it's the firing pins or something.
Okay.
There's like a shelf life on it.
Because it's literally just 3 rocks. That it's charcoal, sulfur, and potassium nitrate that they mix and then let it dry, and then it's black powder.
Yeah.
So, but if it gets wet, you have to start over.
So if it's literally on a shelf, it'll be exposed to the elements, and that would be.
Well, I mean, it'd be fine as long as
it looks like so it's longer than I thought. It looks like there's a 10-year shelf life on loaded ammo.
Yeah, loaded ammo is probably different. Yeah, but if you have actual just black powder,
So you just have to conquer the whole world in 10 years.
There you go.
Then you problem solved.
I mean, Hitler did it.
That's true. Got to set career goals for yourself.
You just make concentration camps, but for zombies.
reach for your dreams. I like my piano wire idea, like the surrounding your house with piano wire that they just run through.
Yeah, but that's only for the fast ones.
That's true.
Slow ones would just kind of not do anything.
For the slow ones,
electrify.
You have a pit with a bunch of alligators in the bottom of it, just surrounding your house.
Yeah, but then you'd have to feed your alligators.
They would eat the zombies.
I don't think an alligator would eat a zombie.
I think they would. I don't think they're picky. I think alligators are scavengers. I think they eat rotten stuff all the time.
So I guess you'll be good on ammo, but gas anywhere from 90 to 100 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a matter of months.
Yeah.
Have to figure out how to refine your own gasoline in just a couple months.
Yeah.
Or just walk.
Yeah, or just walk.
Yeah.
Or use horses. Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
I like how one of the Google questions that has been answered is, do gasoline expire?
Do gasoline expire?
How does gasoline pergananate?
Did you see this year when Oregon had to pump their own gas now?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see all the responses people were having to that?
No.
They were like, oh my god, what if I explode? Literally, people in Oregon were shitting themselves about having to pump their own gas. They were like, you want me to get out of my car in the cold and fill my tank with highly explosive liquid?
Yeah.
No thank you. That should be done by a trained professional. Things like that. I'm
right.
Are you kidding me?
They train those people very well. I mean, for fuck's sake, I worked at the airport fueling airplanes, and they didn't train us hardly at all.
Yeah, it was like half a day, and they it's literally they put you with. In my case, they put me with another person who told me how to do everything wrong. He was like, they tell you not to do this, but what you really should do is this. And it's that's literally what they told me not to do. No. You should do it anyway. You should trust me.
Dude, what if all the chefs die and you don't know how to make bread or other basic foods?
Cheese.
Oh, who needs cheese?
No cheese exists anymore? I would rather die. I would give myself to the zombies if I couldn't find someone who knew how to make cheese.
Dude, I don't even get cheese on my Whoppers when they ask me if I want cheese.
Well, I ask for cheese on my Whoppers, and they still don't give it to me. So
they're do you want cheese on that? And I always am no, fuck that. That's it's 75 more cents. That's not worth it.
That one by the mall is like the worst Burger King I've ever been to. They like have never got my order right, not one fucking time.
Yeah.
And I still keep going back because I don't want to drive all the way to a completely different town. So I'm like, fuck it.
Wait, what mall?
The mall.
That's
here.
Further than the one up in Walmart. There's
I guess there's one
Walmart.
inside of the Walmart.
There's also one across the street from Zaxby's that's not in a Walmart.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, the one across from Zaxby's isn't that bad, but so that's what do you think of zombies, Palmer?
They're dead.
Okay.
They're dead.
They're dead. They don't stand a chance. I'm blanking. I'm way too high.
So my opinion on zombies.
Yeah, what do you think about zombies, Ryan?
There's some. I think in these cases of actual zombies who are just people without any kind of drugs in their system need to be looked at further. Yeah. My personal hypothesis on this is that they have been experimented on. Some kind of mind control drug that isn't traceable by our standard methods.
It could be continuing MK Ultra experiments.
Yeah, some kind of shit like that is going on.
Yeah.
And that's why we can't properly explain what's happening, because it just doesn't make any sense otherwise.
I think that zombies, the most likely thing that would cause it would be like if mad cow disease managed to go to like people.
Yeah.
Like that would be fucking gnarly, because that causes like the violence and aggression and hunger and all those things that it would take to like literally just that one little genetic mutation in mad cow disease, and then it would be like 28 days later.
I'm pretty sure rabies would be the closest thing to being a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
As soon as it makes you not afraid of water.
Not afraid of water. But yeah, it's fucking I was reading about like all kinds of different ways that it could happen, like parasites and funguses and
surfing.
Yeah, surfing.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Imagine a whole bunch of zombies just like, what up? Dude, I got so pitted.
Zombies! I love being a zombie, man. It's dope.
You're out there, man.
You got any brains? I could really go for some fish brains.
You get shorts on them brains?
I am an FBI agent.
Federal brain investigator.
So, what do you think the chances are of you making it out of a zombie apocalypse alive, Palmer?
0.
What about you, Ryan?
I'm calculating a 39.6, repeating of course, chance of survival.
Of course.
Okay. How likely do you think it is that Palmer will make it out of a zombie apocalypse?
I think he's underselling himself. I give him like 2%.
That was close.
I think that I would have a like 20% chance. I'm pretty fat. It would be difficult for me to get away from him, but I think I'm also like crafty. I'm wiry, so I can figure out like I'm scrappy and I have a get it done attitude.
I would just Otis everybody.
I think I can totally do it. I think Ryan, probably you have the best chance of the three of us making it through a zombie apocalypse.
Nah, I can't be bothered.
Palmer, I think I'd probably give you, I don't know, I'd give you like a, it depends on whatever your fucking mood is that day, honestly, because I think if you were just like, nah, I don't feel like being eaten by zombies, I think you would somehow find a way to still have power in World of Warcraft and be playing just because you didn't feel like being eaten by zombies that day. I think that's perfectly possible. So that's it for the show this week. You can send us your paranormal stories. Love to hear them. Email us at weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Share us with people you love. I got the YouTube channel up now. Got all our episodes.
Share us with people you hate.
Yeah, share us with people you hate.
Smash that hate button.
Put us even louder on the people you hate. And also check out our our merch. We got merch now.
Check us out on Podbean.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, we're on Podbean. We're on Stitcher. We're on iTunes. We're on Google, I think. Google Play.
Check out my MySpace.
We don't have MySpace
We got
anymore.
one friend. His name is Tom. He is dope.
He is dope. He has never said a word, just the way we like it.
He's just ever watching.
If you like what we do and you want to hear us do it in a clearer, more concise way where it's not us yelling into one microphone, you can donate to our Patreon and help us out that way, or buy some merch, man. Get yourself something out of it. Like we get something from the merch, so that'll be dope. So thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye. Brains. Man, that episode was dope. You know what else would be dope? If you guys told us your paranormal stories. I know some of you have seen ghosts, some of you have seen fucking UFOs, some of you have seen Bigfoot. If you write into us, we have an email. It is weirdshitpodcast@gmail.com. We really want to read you guys' emails. If you want to just give us a shout out, you can give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to record a voice message, I want to start putting voice shout outs at the beginning of every episode now. So if you send us those, that would be fucking dope. We have the Google Voice number. If you'd rather call up and leave us a voicemail, you can tell us your story that way. Send us some positivity, man. Keep the positivity coming. It's the number for that is 919-346-3071. That's 919-346-3071. We also have a Facebook group, the Weird Shit Podcast official Facebook group. We're on there all the time. We're posting memes. We want to talk to you guys. Fucking tweet at us. Fucking Facebook us. Fucking email us, man, because we love to hear from you and we want to keep doing this forever.
Hello, my darlings. I'm Sammy, the host of Encrypted. Every 2 weeks, I will bring you stories of mystery, true crime, and creepy. You can find me on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have a story? I would love to hear it. You can go to the Encrypted Podcast discussion group on Facebook. On Twitter, you can find us at EncryptedPod. Or you can go to accproductions.org/encrypted. Don't forget to lock your doors and hold tight to your flashlight.
Hey guys, I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe. And we are the Fringe Boys.
The hosts of Cast into the Fringe, a weekly dive into time travel,
aliens,
conspiracies,
nerdy virgins,
and many other strange things the government doesn't want you to know.
Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Cast into the Fringe.
And check out our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud.
Hi, this is Jim.
And this is Annabelle.
Together, we bring you the Forgotten News Podcast.
We tell true stories from long ago. Stories from before you were born. Stories that made headlines for a week or a month, then vanished, just as suddenly. We look for these long-lost stories, then brush off the dust and share them with you, as fresh as the day they were first told.
One thing we definitely promise you, the stories you will hear will always be a surprise, and it will be a true story.
It might be a crime story. It might be a strange or spooky story. It might be a funny story.
If you are someone who might like to hear lost stories like these, then you should definitely listen to the Forgotten News Podcast.
The Forgotten News Podcast is available on iTunes, also known as Apple Podcasts, as well as Google Play, Podbay, Player FM, and nearly every app for listening to podcasts.
I don't know what else to say, except be sure to listen to the Forgotten News podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They might just be starting a podcast.
Oh, hey there. I didn't see you. I'm Sarah, the host of the Salty Canadian podcast. If you want a podcast that is full of fun, rants, reviews, and just random stuff, then this is a podcast for you. We can be found on any podcast catcher, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and have a great day. Eh?
Hey everybody, Mike here. I just want to take a second to talk to you about our Patreon we have set up at www.patreon.com/weirdshitpodcast. Basically, Patreon is a way where fans and listeners like yourselves can choose an amount every month to donate towards the show. Your donations will be put towards buying new equipment. It'll be put towards buying munchies because fucking Palmer is insatiable. It'll be put towards helping us pay our dues for hosting the show and for keeping the websites going. And honestly, the main thing it'll help us do is let me take more time to do more research on these topics. I have a full-time job. I work 60 hours a week, and then I spend 40 hours doing research for you guys because I love this show and I want to give you the best thing I possibly can. So if you have anything you want to give us, if you think we deserve anything for that work, feel free to go to Patreon and donate whatever you can. If not, man, it's cool. Like, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad you're listening. Just share the show with whoever you think would be interested, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.